Okay, let's look for Villamont. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, now let's go find
Water
Villamont.
comes in many flavors.
Okay, where are we going? Over here. Let's see.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
All right, here we go.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're
And
just
she's Hydro.
curious,
It's not really
that's
like
all.
she can fight Hydro.
I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Precisely! And I'm not even the Hydro Archon anymore, so all my power is gone anyway. As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like
Just runs behind the traveler.
Damsel in distress more than anything.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie indeed. Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Don't worry, piece of cake.
Hello.
I will have order. Solidify.
Emerge. Right now. Nothing lasts forever.
Oh, there's more of you. Okay.
Right here. Emerge.
Settle down.
But 2 of you are ice, so I can hit 2 of you.
Be sanctified.
Bravo! Good show! You certainly live up to your reputation.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway,
Where are
the
they?
path is
Oh,
cleared
this way.
now, so onwards and upwards.
Going up there? Okay. I can do that.
Vilma, are you there?
He lives in this hut.
Oh, it's you guys. Wait, what's Lady Furina doing here?
Just visiting.
I can
You know,
explain.
the usual.
We've been rounding up the whole troop. We now have everyone except you.
Delphi explains the whole sequence of events so,
So,
far to Villamont.
You think knowing the truth
Villamont.
about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now, I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Villamont, avoiding the truth will not help anyone. Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, Villamont. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one. As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances. It seemed like a win-win, so I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director.
What a dumb
It
idiot.
was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
I remember that it induces a state of euphoria, but it also causes significant harm to the body.
I freaked out when I saw the boxes, and I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration. The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then?
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up, and then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day. I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point. I admit this whole thing was my mistake.
This man is kind of dumb.
I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
As you should be. You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed. There, I said it. Happy now?
Hey, don't say that.
You traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean? You were afraid? This was a life and death situation. We could have saved her! How could you be so stupid?
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered! She was the love of my life! And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show! How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
All I can say is I'm sorry. Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now? I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer. It's what I deserve. End my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Get out of my sight! Go! Get lost! I don't ever want to see your face again!
That's enough! You've
Okay.
screamed and shouted at each other for long enough. Now pipe down, both of you! Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe? You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
You're right.
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention. And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe. But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe. What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters, to shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her, and that's what you should be celebrating. I understand why you're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already? After everything she did for you?
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with each other. If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured? But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Director O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that, for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again. If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray. The end of the story needs to focus back on O'Reilly herself. She's the true star of the show.
It might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
Well, we can go
The
talk to the
Traveler is
fountain.
right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims.
Oh yeah, that too.
If you could find anything that O'Reilly left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on O'Reilly's true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
Have you been back to the Palais Mermonia since you were like de-archoned?
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while now. Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually have to submit an application.
Thank
Okay,
you.
please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
Sadine sends a staff member to
So,
retrieve...
This
Yep.
is all O'Reilly left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
Tattered old notebook, you
It's full of
say.
script lines and sketches too. Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary. Let's see. Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on
How
dissolving
is
young
she
women.
able to keep
If we'd
her
had the chance
notebook?
to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
Lachey took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off.
Is something wrong?
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength left. Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Someone else was taken. That makes 6. Or perhaps the 7th? Someone tried to escape yesterday but was caught. She hasn't been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've long since lost track of time. Sorry, I don't know if writing this is of any use, or how much longer I can do it for. I can already see my fate approaching, but what terrifies me even more is the thought of seeing others from the troop here. Have I truly protected them? Sorry, I'm so sorry. I can write no more. I think I have a fever and my old stomach troubles have returned, but nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I am more fortunate than Cressy. The pain keeps her awake all night. I suppose they think that anything goes so long as the experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It's so damp here. I have given her my blanket. So cold, so cold, so cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. There will be a reward for hard work. I like to tell them such things. But it is I who am losing my grip. If anyone sees this, troop, safe. I, them, important. Please, farewell, apologize. Life, perform, future, regrets, Cleo. This page is an absolute mess, and the writer's pen seems to have wandered its surface at random. Only some words can be made out, and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary stops to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings, others are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It is apparent that the pages have been referenced often, and that this was the personal notebook of artistic director O'Reilly.
She was so terrified.
She watched a girl get dissolved right in front of her and had to wait for her own death in silence.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troop, but at the end of the day, she was only human. I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely familiar.
Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to the last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note are 2 new lines O'Reilly has written, in handwriting much more legible than before. But it seems that they took her both great effort and a great deal of time to write. If you were to become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I am an older sister to them. I love them.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence, waiting for death to come. I'm sure this is what the troop would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. And she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
Okay. This is a very dark event, story quest. I feel like even though Navia's was a little sad, it was still like uplifting because it ended on a positive note. Let's hope this one does too. Somehow. Teleport me a little closer. Thank you. After reading through the notebooks, some are lost for words, some weep bitterly, and some grind their teeth and howl with rage. A long time passes before the group is able to calmly come together and finally make a decision.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself. We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now, do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance, to make this a show worthy of our director. I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
Because they're performing their loved one's story.
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing. If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance. And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world? I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the details of the ending and get it nailed down once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal. During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Huh?
Interesting.
But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay
She's
with
not
that,
wrong.
I have no objection to it.
Now we're talking like a serious acting troupe. All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a stage.
Procure a stage?
We're not using this one?
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a reservation.
That place? Oh, don't be silly. For an extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage. By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
Whoa,
Oh,
wait,
we're going
what?
all in.
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
We're doing
What are
it.
you afraid of? Surely you don't think that O'Reilly's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
Go big or go home. Also, Furina is so good at goading them on.
I have no problem with it then. How about the rest of you? I'll take your silence as a yes. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
Well, then don't disappoint me. If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on. We'll need to get the go-ahead from Nerilette. I know just where to find him.